I'm not God, I'm not a rabbi. You can't just say, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do my best. How can you go and do something every day for 15 or 20 years and complain for 6 or 8 or 10 hours in a row about how much you hate doing this? I'm not even super spiritual. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, by the way. Your purpose in life is something that you do, and that doesn't mean that it's your career. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nobody Listens to Kevin podcast, where I tell you the truth about life and relationships that you are not going to hear anywhere else. I'm really excited for today's episode because to me, it's a very, very uplifting topic. And I wish that somebody had told me this when I was 25, 26. But you could be in your 40s or in your 50s and still wondering the answer to this question. What is my purpose in life? What am I doing here? I'm not God, I'm not a rabbi, I'm not even super spiritual, but I'm gonna try to break this down and make it pretty straightforward. And this is the closest approximation I have found to an answer that's reliable of what is the purpose in our lives. And the way that I learned what my purpose is in life, as well as what a life purpose is, just conceptually, was actually by being a waiter. So I don't know, maybe I'll title this episode, How Waiting Tables Taught Me My Purpose in Life, or something like that. So when I was 23, 24, it was my final semester at USC. I was about to graduate in the spring. I was a senior and I fell into a really, really bad depression. And depression was something that I battled on and off throughout college. With the first year of college being the worst, I was depressed out of my mind and very, very sick mentally and physically my freshman year. But during my senior year, I fell into another really bad depression and I had to take a semester off. It was very concerning because I was supposed to graduate in the spring with all of my friends, and instead I was electing to take a semester off, and basically I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just knew that I needed deep rest and I needed healing. I was gonna have the spring semester and then the following 3 months off from life basically, and then I was gonna return in the fall. So I was looking at a good 8-month period to sort of take care of myself. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, by the way. But in order to fill my time, I read a ton of books, I did a lot of exercising, I did a lot of therapy and life coaching, and I also got a job at a restaurant waiting tables. This job taught me so much. It taught me so much about what I wanted to be in life and what I didn't want to be in life. One of the things that stuck out to me very clearly that I did not want to be in life was somebody who goes to work every day and is miserable, not necessarily because of the work itself, but because they have all sorts of pent-up misery within themselves that they haven't worked out, that then comes out in their job and that they think is the result of their job. I was surrounded by waiters who had been at this restaurant. It was a very nice, fancy, expensive, classy place. They'd been working there, some of them for 15 or 20 years. And it was like every shift was the shift from hell. And I just couldn't believe it. How can you go and do something every day for 15 or 20 years and complain for 6 or 8 or 10 hours in a row about how much you hate doing this? I realized that half of the people who were complaining like that were actors and musicians and models and whatever who hadn't made it in their chosen profession. So they just saw this job as something to pay the bills, and they were resentful that they had to spend time there instead of doing what they actually wanted to do. And the other half of the people who were complaining all the time didn't have anything else outside of this job that gave them a sense of fulfillment or purpose. And waiting tables can be a pretty thankless job. It really wears on your nerves. You see the best and you see the absolute worst of humanity. And I came to this conclusion that all of the people who were complaining at this job were people who, when they walked through the door of the restaurant, felt that what they were doing, aside from paying their bills was pretty much pointless. They felt like, why am I here? Why do I have to be here? In other words, the time that they spent inside the restaurant was purposeless, right? There was no fulfillment that they derived from being at the restaurant. They didn't derive any sense of personal pride or personal investment from working this job. And that was the reason that they felt so miserable. So I decided that I didn't want to be a waiter for the rest of my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I decided that for every single hour that I spent working at that job, I was going to try to be the best waiter that I could be, and I was going to try to give my customers the best experience that they could have. And I thought that even though I'm just waiting tables, maybe if I infuse waiting tables with a sense of giving, with a sense of importance, with a sense of passion, that it would be a less miserable experience for me. And that way I would know that I wasn't going to end up like one of these miserable waiters. And that's exactly what happened. Not only did I love my job, I also made the most sales. I also made the most money. They wanted to promote me to manager. I was always happy, I was always enjoying it, and I learned what a purpose in life is. A purpose in life is not something that you necessarily have or something that you discover. Your purpose in life is something that you do. And that doesn't mean that it's your career. Your purpose in life is anything that allows you to be immersed in the giving of a gift. Your purpose in life is anything that allows you to be fully immersed in giving something from yourself to another person in a way that makes you feel fulfilled. Now, for some people, that means that they're going to work every day and they're curing cancer or they're performing surgery on little kids' brains and they're saving lives, right? For other people, like me at 25, that means that when they're waiting tables, they're just trying to give their customers a really good experience. Whether you're flipping hamburgers at McDonald's, or you're a construction worker, or you're an electrician, whatever your job is, first of all, your job doesn't have to be the same as your purpose. Maybe your job is the thing that gives you money and allows you to put food on the table for your family, but you see your real purpose as being a father or being a mother, or there's something that you work on outside of your job that gives you true fulfillment. But if you see your job, your vocation as your purpose, then it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be something that makes you feel you are giving of yourself. It has to be something that you choose to invest into, and in exchange for that investment, you will derive a sense of fulfillment. Again, whether you're curing cancer or you're flipping hamburgers or anything in between, as long as you show up to that thing thinking, I want to give myself to this thing, that is enough of a purpose. In order to show up and give and derive that sense of fulfillment, you have to be willing to get better, right? You can't just say, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do my best, and then I'll feel fulfilled. Then I'll feel like my purpose has been met. It doesn't work that way, right? If you want to give of yourself, then you're going to have to notice your defects of character. You're going to have to notice where you're coming up short, where you could be doing things better, where you could be giving more, where you have a bad attitude. The other part of this is that your purpose is really to work on yourself. Your purpose is to get better at whatever it is that you're trying to do, grow spiritually and emotionally. As a result of that growth, you are able to give and give and give into whatever it is that you're spending your time doing. So I guess you could say that your purpose in life has two sides. They're two sides of the same coin. One of them is to evolve and to work through your defects of character and to grow spiritually and emotionally. And the other side of your purpose is to give whatever gift is available to you right now. There are some people who are born with a gift, right? There are some Kobe Bryants out there. There are some extremely talented chefs out there. There are some musicians that, you look at these people and it's like, you couldn't do anything else, right? And then you hope that they don't waste their talent, and you hope that they live their life out through the delivery of that purpose. But if you don't feel that you were born with some God-given talent, that's okay. You just have to choose something that you invest into that is connected to something higher than yourself. As simple as being a waiter or as a waitress, you can still derive purpose in life from that, because your giving is for someone else or for something else. If you're, as I said, a camera operator or an electrician, or you work at the front desk of a medical office, you may not think that that's your purpose. But when you get home and you see your children and you see their smiling faces, and you see how much of a better person you have to become in order to give to them, being a parent is a beautiful purpose in life to have, and that's enough. It doesn't have to be the thing that gives you money. But if you're at the point in your life where you want your purpose to be the thing that gives you money, then you have to correct your own flaws, and you have to give of yourself, and you have to find a way to connect this thing that you're spending your time doing to something higher than yourself. And I guarantee you that when you do that, no matter what activity you're immersed in, you will feel that sense of fulfillment and pride. The other thing that I think is important to mention is that as you go through your life, you're going to shed layers of purpose. You're going to give your gift in different forms. There are going to be different vehicles through which you grow and you invest. So at this point in my life, my purpose is to use my gift of communication in order to help other people with the direction of their lives. But there might be a point, let's say when I have kids, where I feel that my highest purpose in life is to be a father and to guide my children, support my family. There might be a point where my kids are grown, where there's something else that I feel needs my investment, where I have to shed the layer of purpose that I was immersed in before and elevate to something else. That's fine, as long as I am growing and I am continuing to give. I don't want you to think that you got to choose one thing, be it a purpose or be it a job, and stick with that your entire life. Whatever it was, 7, 8 years ago, my purpose in life, the only one that I knew, was to get better, to be less depressed, and to be a good waiter, right? And I did that, and it gave me a sense of fulfillment. Right now I'm in a very different place, and I'm sure 10 years from now I'll be in a very different place too. So that's okay. We ride the layers of purpose, we fulfill them, then we shed them. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And if you know somebody who's sort of trying to understand what their next steps are in life, send them this episode.